A couple of days ago, I posted some information up on the Facebook group about the training content that I'm going to release in next year and also some of the content that I'm going to release in this year. A couple of questions were asked. What platform do I use? How does everything integrate together? And would I create some content on what I'm using? So that's exactly what this is. A short overview of the tools that I use, how I combine them together, and how the platform is actually structured. It's still very early in development from my point of view. So you're going to have to take this with a pinch of salt. Things may change in the future, but for now, this is what I'm looking to use, and I'm going to give you an overview of how I use it. So pretty much everything is built around Thrivecart as the backbone. Now, when I released my webinar earlier this year, Thrivecart was what I purchased to do just that, to handle the payment side of things, the cart side of things. But what it also does is it includes affiliate management. So in the future, where I create more expensive courses that are larger, broader topics and so on, I can then take on affiliates that can promote and market that course for me, and then Thrivecart will handle all of the affiliate percentages, all the different things like that, along with my sales funnels, cart processing, all those kinds of things. Plus, it integrates with a lot of other options. And what I've built kind of works in conjunction with what I have inside Thrivecart. So let's first of all take a look at Thrivecart, how I've got it set up. And then I'll show you some of the other tools that I actually use to run this LMS, my online training, and future projects that I have that all revolve around having to have landing pages, sales funnels, dealing with payment processing, those kinds of things. So if we hop over into Thrivecart, you can see currently there's a special lifetime offer, which in all honesty, this lifetime offer has been running for quite some time. It is set to increase in price over a period of time. And if you are looking for something that is not WordPress related, that gives you a really solid platform that integrates with lots of other tools, Thrivecart is definitely worth your consideration. Dave Foy recommended this to me, giving me a demonstration of how it worked, and I pretty much bought it a couple of days later. It's not cheap. It's probably the most expensive part of my entire setup, but it paid itself back with the first webinar in the first day. So if you've got things set up right, this can really be a solid platform for doing exactly that, selling your products, your services, those things online. Let's take a quick look at the pricing side of things for this so you can see exactly what's going on. If we hop over to the special offer and take a look, say, get my lifetime account now, and there's a 30-day money-back guarantee on this as well. What I purchased was the lifetime account, which is currently valued at $495, and the Pro upgrade, which gives me extra features. So all in total, I was in for just under $700, probably around about £600 once you looked at fees. And what exactly did that give me with the Pro and with everything else included? Well, we've got the affiliate center, like I said, so this can handle the affiliate sales. It's up to the affiliates themselves to do the marketing. Subscription saver, so if you want to apply subscriptions as part of the whole process, which will tie into the learning platform, you could do that as well. You can set this up to work on automatic sales calculations or tax calculations. Now, this won't submit your tax, but it will calculate your actual involvement, how much you have to pay in taxes from your sales. This was one of those things that was useful for me because I wanted to make sure that I set myself up for the future where I might need to do those sales calculations with online training, global training, taking that into consideration. You've got business projections, which isn't something I particularly look at too much. Your JV contracts or joint venture contracts, advanced user management, client usage rights, and custom domain name functionality. All of these things are included in the Pro version, which is, as you can see, this is the Pro upgrade on top of everything else. So that's what I've purchased. As you can see, there's a lot of feedback on how good this is, and I will vouch for it. It is something that I think is very, very good. Okay, so let's hop back out of this. Let's just log into my account. Now, when you log into your account, you'll see if you have the Pro account, if you have an account of Thrivecart as opposed to just being an affiliate, you'll see you have two sections. You've got My Accounts, which is your account. And if you were an affiliate for anybody, you'll also have an affiliate account inside here. So I'm an affiliate for a couple of different people, Dave Foy being included, one of those. So I can log in and take a look at the affiliate information. So if you set up affiliates, that's what they would have access to. What I'm interested in, though, is taking a look at the actual Thrivecart account itself. So let's hop into there. And this is what you get presented with to start off with. Now, there's zero figures on here because I haven't run anything through this since probably about May time. So I'm not going to show any of my statistics anyway, but you can see this gives you an overview of checkout views, orders, conversion rate, refunds, those kinds of things. So you can get a bird's eye view of how much money you're making, the costs incurred, those kinds of things. And you can see you can break this down and do comparisons between products, recurring, non-recurring, and you can take a look at the actual products that you have that are live and generating income. So I can go to my design system webinar, which is what I ran earlier this year, and I can see exactly what I made there and check out the timescales and those kinds of things. So that's pretty cool. You can also check this on today's date, yesterday, week, month, year, financial year, those kinds of things. So tons of options inside there to see exactly where you are financially using Thrivecart. If we take a look at the top, we're currently in the dash or dashboard. We've also got products. So let's take a look inside there. And this is where all of your products reside. Now, these can be digital products, those kinds of things, or sale products. And you can create, you can search products, you can set the labels and names and so on and see exactly what's going on. And as you can see, most of what I currently have are either in development or the testing sides of things. So you can see the webinar, design system webinar is still live, even though everything is disabled. And each one of these has statistics associated with it. You can create a funnel for this, you can edit it, and you can get the URL. Now, the URL, if we click on that, this is the link to the checkout page. So if I just copy that from there and we open up a new tab and take a look at this page, you'll see this is what the end user would see once you sort of have your sales funnel set up, and then you click the buy button, and this would then take them over into your Thrivecart checkout, and this is the kind of thing that they would see. So I've got this set up in a really basic form. There's still plenty left to do on this. It tells me at the top that this is in test mode, so I can run test transactions to make sure that everything works the way I want it to. And you can see I've got things set up with some social proof to sort of back up the claims that the actual webinar makes. As you can see, these are live, these are real students, these are people that actually did the original course, or the original webinar, I should say. And as you see, Beth was kind enough to leave me some feedback, and so was Richard, so hi Rich. And you can go through, you can test this out, then when you're ready to go live, you can switch this over into live, and this is exactly what it would look like, and start taking live transactions. Inside here, you can see you've also got affiliate URLs. So if you are working with affiliates, you can then provide them with affiliate URLs, and they can then use this for their own sort of setup. You can even create upsells inside here if you want to. So let's hop back into our products. And you can see we can create a funnel if we want. So we can click create funnel, and this now enables the sales funnel. We can click on there and we can now go through and create quite comprehensive sales funnels. And then you can say, well, what do you want to do when someone actually makes a purchase? Do you want to just display their invoice, provide URLs to purchase? So you might send them over to somewhere like a digital download or to the course or something like that. Add them to the membership site, which is part of Learn and Learn Plus, which is the new module for the LMS that's part of Thrivecart now. Or you could use a custom script. And you can see I've got this add to membership site, and then I can say this is what we want, which is Thrivecart Learn. That's the membership site that I'm using. How do you want to deal with refunds, and do you want to configure upsells and those kinds of things? So you can create your entire sales funnel inside here. Again, let's hop back to our product. If we go in and take a look at editing one of these, this will open up then the editing options where we can configure everything about it, including setting it to test mode, live, and also disable it. So here you've got some really basics like the name of the product, the label you want to give it, which could be an internal label. So it could be something like a SKU code or something like that. The link to this, which is your URL. You've got your pricing then. You can set this up. You can choose what currency you want to display this in and how you want to take payments. Do you want to calculate the sales tax? Do you want to customize the invoice? If you do, then you can customize various different aspects of the invoice itself. You can set up order bumps, so you may sell a digital product and you might say, well, you can also have this for a reduced price, your typical upsell bumps and things like that. You can deal with your processors. Now, currently I've got PayPal and Stripe set up, but you can use Google Pay and so on, so you can set up multiple processors, which, depending upon where you are in the world, is something that I would recommend looking into to give people as many options as possible. You can even provide split payments if you want to. So if your product is quite expensive, you might want to give them 3 payment options, however you want to deal with it. But all of that's built directly into Thrivecart. If you go to the affiliate section, again, this is where you set up your affiliates. Then you've got your fulfillment. So this is where you can set up some basic things like the support email or URL if you want to send them to a page that's dedicated to support. What should happen after the purchase? In this case, I can set them up and add them to the membership site, but you could just display their invoice and total or send them to a URL. So like we saw earlier on, the membership platform, again, which is my Thrivecart Learn. And then you can see, select the Thrivecart course to apply to a purchase. So when you create your courses inside Learn Plus and Learn, then you can just connect your checkout, connect your cart to the actual Learn platform, and also what product it is you want to give them access to. And you can even tag the person once they purchased something. Tags can be used for lots of different things to give people future things, to sort of segregate and segment, I should say, various different people that have done different actions. Lots and lots of options. And you can also say send custom success page if you need to do that. And if you're selling things like DVDs and CDs and so on, you can also link this up to Kanaki. I've never used that. I don't sell it. Then you've got your checkout. You can come in here and you can design your entire checkout process. So if we go ahead and take a look at editing this, you could easily go in and start making changes. So we just have over the design, launch the editor. This will open up the editor and you can see there's that page, that checkout page that I just shown you. And I can go ahead and I can use any of the drag and drop options on the right hand side. If I want to do multi-step, I can do that inside here. I can configure this. So everything then is brandable. You can pull everything together to make sure you have consistency of color, brand, and typography, those kinds of things. So you can see we're using the same orange that I'll use in the Learn platform, those kinds of things. You've also got the success page, which you will go to then after someone has completed the purchase. And this again is going to show you what access you have, and they can click to access their purchase, those kinds of things. And again, you've got all the drag and drop options. You can switch between mobile and desktop views, so you can check to make sure everything looks the way you want it to. And I'll just exit out of this. And then if you want to, you can apply tracking as well. So we can use Facebook, Google, or VWO, integrate your pixels into there, or you can use custom code if you want to. So when you create your sales funnels, your checkout pages, those things, you can track the user, and then you can do lots of other things using those tracking widgets and codes and things. And then finally, you've got your behavior. And if you want to, you can set up custom rules inside here based upon the user's behavior or the customer's behavior. So we add a rule, you can see when something happens, use something else. So what I did previously was when this product was purchased, in this case, when the main product, which was previously the webinar, something would happen. So you can see I've got different options, but let's just say when the main product is purchased, I want to do something. You can run custom HTML, or depending upon the integrations that you set up in your settings for Thrivecart, you can also then do other things. So I was using Demio as the delivery platform for my webinar and MailerLite for the mailing platform to deal with keeping in touch with those students when they'd enrolled prior to the actual webinar. Well, what you can do is you can click on that and you can say, well, what do you want to do? You can say you can add them to something. So you can add them to a webinar. Or for example, if I choose MailerLite, you can see I can add them to a particular group. So I can add them to a specific group inside the MailerLite platform. Lots of really cool options again. And you can run this in specific locations if you want to limit to where this is going to be used. For now, I'll just close that down. But you can see that it's very easy to create these quite comprehensive setups using Thrivecart. So once we finish, we're going to hit save URL and get URL, and that will then show you that URL that I showed you a little earlier. You've also got things saying like transactions. So we can hop over and we can view any of the transactions, and we can filter based upon customer name, email address, those kinds of things. We can view transactions, products, bumps, those kinds of things, and also different date ranges. So hopefully what you can see is inside Thrivecart, especially if you have the Pro upgrade, there's a massive amount of what you can do, and it's all on its own dedicated platform, so you don't have to worry about this being on your own server. And finally, you've got your subscriptions inside here. So again, you can deal with creating subscriptions, managing the subscriptions, signups, those kinds of things. And then we've got partners. Now partners, like I say, is basically your affiliates. So you can see we can set up overviews, the number of affiliates, the payments, the product options, and you can configure this to lots of different ways. You can create different percentages, different payouts for different users, for different affiliates. There's a lot of things, and this is something that I'll take a look at. And as always, if you see anything in this video that you'd like me to cover in its own dedicated video in a lot more detail, pop some comments in that comment section down below. And if you want your joint venture partners, you can see that's inside there. And again, you can control your payouts, your rules, those kinds of things. If we come over into the settings before we take a look at the LMS section and go into settings, you can see inside here, again, you've got even more options. You've got integrations, blacklist, account-wide settings, run a tax report, APIs and webhooks. Now with this, you can get 5 webhooks as part of your plan. If you want more, I believe you have to purchase more on top of that. But for most use cases, those webhooks, 5 of those should be more than enough. And you've got translations, legal and compliance and so on. Most important thing inside here for most users is going to be where you set up your integrations. And this is where you connect Thrivecart to other platforms, including your payment, your mailing, those kinds of things. So inside the integrations, we currently have 37 different integrations. So most use cases should be covered with most of the common kind of tools we have available, including some really useful ones that have been on AppSumo. So you can see we've got Stripe, PayPal, AuthorizeNet, so main contenders for dealing with online payments, but you also have things like MailerLite, MailChimp, Mooseend, what I use, which is in charge for my email sequences. And obviously I use MailerLite for various different things. But even if you want to do things like connect it up to Wishlist Member to take with the payment side of things on here and then enroll them as a member in your WordPress membership site using something like Wishlist Member, all be done inside here. And Demio was the platform that I used to deliver the webinar. As you can see, that's set up inside here as well. So it's pretty well integrated, and even if you don't have what you want inside here, you have Zapier. If you want to create some zaps and you want to connect various different things up, you could use that to do it. Now I use this in conjunction with various other tools to create a nice sequence and then zap various different things around to do everything seamlessly in the background. And that's the beauty of working with something like this. If you're a nerd like me and you get kind of a kick out of finding out all these tools, how they work and integrate to each other, then dealing with something like Thrivecart and Zapier opens up a lot of combinations together. That's kind of the options we have when it comes to the integrations. Now let's take a look at Learn and Learn Plus. Now Learn is the free version that's included in Thrivecart. You don't have to pay anything for this. Obviously there are limitations in what you can do with this, and I purchased the upgrade, which I think was about $195, one-time payment. Gives you access then to the entire Learn platform, which is just called Learn Plus if you purchase that. So once you do that, you can see inside your account, you have the new section for Learn and Learn Plus. And inside there, we've got things like My Courses, Bundles, Students, and Team. You can create new projects, you can create new courses from here. And I've got an academy set up at the moment. And this is the academy that kind of groups all the different courses together. Now at the moment, I would say the kind of academy setup, this kind of thing, is a little bit basic, a little bit limited. So I would still use something like WordPress or something like that to create your sales funnels, your landing pages, those kinds of things. Link that up with Thrivecart to handle the payment, and then just use Learn or Learn Plus to deliver the course. At the moment, I've got 2 courses in development. The design system for designers was taken from the webinar that I said why I bought Thrivecart in the first place, and the client lifecycle, which is the new course that I'll be releasing the first half of in January 2022. So the design system for designers will be opening up quite soon. Now, when you hover over any of these, you'll see we have preview, edit, and a couple of options for a quick link and so on. Now, the quick link is if you want to share this and give one-time access to somebody with a unique link, you can copy that quick link, send it over to someone, and then they can just click that link, sign in, create an account, whatever, and they'll automatically have access to that course. So if you want to send it to people to test out, or you want to gift it to someone, this is the way you can do it. Clone, obviously, quick way of starting out, and delete. So let's go take a look at the client lifecycle, which I'm currently working on. If we preview this, it'll open it up and show us what it would look like to the student. So you can see at the moment there's some filler text on the first couple of modules because they're not actually included yet. They're the last thing I'll be putting together. But let's take a look at the first contact, for example. If we look, you can see I can break these down into modules, and inside each module you can have various different lessons. Really easy way to structure things. Fully control the sizing of this, the color scheme, those kinds of things. And let's just go into something like the actionable steps. If we open that up, you can see I've got an embedded video. We can set this to autoplay, whatever. The embedded video is set up and used through BunnyCDN, the delivery network for dealing with digital content like videos, downloads, those kinds of things. And we'll look at that in a little bit. Or we've got something like the red flag clients. You can see I can create the layout, create the content that I want, add anything I want inside here using a drag and drop editor. The video all embedded, and it looks pretty cool. It's set up to work nicely on a mobile. This has already had an update this week that's expanded what we can do with multiple different designs. So if I want to change the look of this, I can do that very easily, and I can set this up to look completely different. Full control, like I say, over the styling, colors, the different modules, all in a drag and drop environment. So let's go back over, and instead of previewing, let's go in and take a look at the editing option. Now, once you're inside the editing section, we have 2 sections, the course content and the course options. Content, as its name would suggest, is where you create the course itself. And as you can see, we can easily go in and we can create new modules, we can create new lessons and put those inside the modules, and you can see everything is set up over on the left-hand side. Now, there's a couple of things that I like about this. When you create a module and you put lessons inside it, You can save them as draft if you want to, and then instead of going through each individual lesson and publishing it when you're ready, you can simply click on the module and choose the option to publish it. And that will publish all of the course elements, all of the lessons inside just that module. So that's pretty cool. You can also change the access time and how and when people will have access to this. So if we go in there, you can see, do we want to give instant access to everything, or do you want to drip the course out over a set period of time? So you could have people that have a subscription, and instead of giving them everything so they could have the subscription for a month and cancel it, you might say that this course is dripped out one new module every single week. You can do that inside here as well. And as you can see, we can set this to be instant or dripped and control exactly how you want to work with that side of things. Now, if we go and take a look at one of the lessons, let's open up this lesson here. See, once the lesson is opened up, we now get to see the look and the layout of this individual lesson. We can globally edit our entire sidebar, and you can see we've got the option to control all those different areas on the side. If we take a look, there's your sidebar styling, so we can click and open that up, and now we can adjust the width of this, the highlight color, active tabs, and so on. So really easy to set that up, hit done on there. But what we're interested in are all the elements. So you can see we can just simply drag what we want to. So if we want a video, we can simply drag that where we want it, drop it, and now we can configure the look. So we've got 6 different layouts for this. If you have multiple videos you want to drop into a nice little section, 3 wide, 2 wide, so on, you can do that. You can adjust your padding, your spacing, you can adjust your video size, and then all you need to do is drop in the embed code for your video using, for example, BunnyCDN. But you could use any other. You could use Vimeo, you could use YouTube, whatever you want to use. As long as you've got an embed code, you can drop that inside there, and this supports most use cases. So very easy to go ahead and then just build everything out. You can drop download buttons in, so if you have digital downloads, we can simply drop that inside there, and you can see now we get a great looking layout. We can set things up. Do you want to show the file name, the file info? Do you want to show an image? Great if you've got a PDF or something like that. Your link, and again, you can use BunnyCDN to deal with this. Your background colors, your border radiuses, you can style your buttons, all those kinds of things. Everything you need is all set up there. So we'll just get rid of that. So we'll just click to delete it, and we'll do exactly the same on there. Delete that. Then when you're happy though, you can hit publish and your lesson is done. So you just repeat that process. You can save it as a draft or you can publish this. Entirely up to you how you want to work. We'll exit out of this, so we'll exit without saving, and now we can go ahead and edit this, and we can drag and drop these around. You can create thumbnails to drop inside these little images, and depend upon how you choose to lay things out, this has more or less of an effect. So if we go to change the course layout, for example, you can see currently we have sidebar, but we can, if we want to, use top menu or grid, and the grid will then use those little thumbnails you drop in there to create and populate the images inside that grid. Pretty cool. Like I said, that was in an update this week. You can come into your course options, and inside here now you can set up the basics. Now this is still fairly basic for the most use cases. Do you want to use a custom domain for this particular course? You can do that if you want to. You can then handle exactly how subscription payments are handled if someone stops paying. So you could say disable all access until a payment is made. So you don't let people make a payment, then don't pay, and they still have access to everything. Or do you want to pause dripping content until the payment is made? Display this course to students of my other courses. Great if you want to sort of help people see what other courses are available and allow them to purchase it from their account. And then finally, we've got the behavior rules. And this is where you get some real power, and it kind of works in conjunction with how you've seen some of the things in Thrivecart itself. If we click on add a rule, again, you can see this looks very familiar. When something happens, do something. So you can see when a student gets access to this course, when a student becomes enrolled in a course or completes a module or whatever, you can do something else. So you could easily set this up to make something part of it free, or they have to complete parts of a module before they can do the next one, just by simply using options like a student completes a module or a lesson, and then you can do something. And then your something is, you can see we've got mailer light or so on, and you can see this changes. So if a student completes a module, a specific module, we can choose the module we want, and then we can say what happens. So again, pretty cool, and we can limit that to running only certain locations, which will, based upon their IP address. How viable that would be kind of depends. Creating courses, all those kinds of things is relatively simple and straightforward, all still inside the same platform. Now, let's hop over and take a look at BunnyCDN. So if we go in and just go ahead and log in, you've got a new section over on the left hand side. So if you haven't been inside BunnyCDN for a little while, they've added the stream option fairly recently. If we open this up, you can see we can add a video library or we can manage our existing libraries. Now I've created a couple of libraries, and these libraries obviously equate to what you can see inside the courses. So if we open up something like the client lifecycle, you can see currently I have 2 different collections inside here. And this is just basically the modules, a simple way of grouping the videos for each module. So the project guidelines and the initial contact, for example. So if we open up the initial contact, inside there are my 5 videos for that first or second module. And you can see I've created thumbnail images for those, which will automatically load in when you have the lesson on screen. And then all you need to do is simply come into that. You can change your thumbnail inside there. You can upload your VTT captions. You can select your files from here. You can make changes to this. And then all you need to do is simply enable or disable any of the embed code features. Grab this little bit of code. So we'll just copy that from there. We'll hop back out. We'll go back into Thrivecart. We'll grab a video, drop that inside there, set this to 100% and simply paste in the code, hit done, and we've now embedded a video directly from BunnyCDN into this particular section. Now, it won't play inside the editor, but it'll play when we preview this so we can take a look at it and see exactly how it all works. But that's how easy it is to combine these 2 together. And we're not limited to just video. If we hop back over into BunnyCDN, we've also got the ability to just add in normal files. So if we go to storage, inside there you can see I've created a folder called course downloads. And if we open that up, I can then go ahead and insert any files that I want. So currently there's nothing inside here. But if we go into the client lifecycle course, inside there, again, I can create groups of content. We can create folders. We're simply using this option. So I can create folders named after the modules, and then I can put any of the uploads that I want inside there. And then all I need to do is come into Thrivecart, drag in that download option, and simply drop in the link that I'll get, like we just saw, directly to that file. So we can manage this. We can see exactly how much is being used. So if you found this file was being downloaded thousands and thousands of times and you've got 100 people that actually on your course, you probably know it's being compromised. And then you could quite easily just change the link to that, create something new, edit the content, knowing exactly where it is because it's in this right folder and named correctly. You kind of get the picture. None of this is rocket science, but when you see how you can combine them, it opens up some real possibilities. Okay, so that's basically the Learn Plus platform. Now, the other thing that I'm using is ConvertBox, and this is a platform that was purchased recently by the people that own Thrivecart. So there's already integrations between ConvertBox and Thrivecart, which, you know, the whole point here is to make life as easy as possible. Now, if you're wondering what ConvertBox is, it basically allows you to create marketing pop-ups and things like that, and marketing bars, you know, the kinds of things you've seen, sign up to this, those kinds of things. So I'm still fairly new using this, but I've gone ahead and created just a simple pop-up for a lead magnet, which is the little PDF that I give away, the ebook on 10 things to sort of do before you launch your WordPress website. But the lovely thing about this is, and like I say, I literally only had this a couple of days, you can easily come in, you can create A/B testing, and then you can test those out, which is exactly what I've done on this one. And if we go into the stats, for example, you can see on this particular version, because I've deleted the other test, there's been nearly 1,400 views with 53 interactions, which gives me a lead conversion rate of 3.89%, so just under 4%, which is okay. That's not too bad at all. And you can create multiple ones of these, and you can create various different variations. So if we come back and take a look at our dashboard, let's open this one up, and you can just group these together. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about this because it's pretty simple, to be honest. If we edit this, you can see there's the little pop-up. And again, we've got that very familiar kind of dragging and dropping, the options to set up your display, your targeting and so on. But the reason I bought this, because again, this isn't something that's cheap. It's a lifetime deal on this as well. And again, the link will be in the description below so you can check it out. Is the ability to really fine-tune exactly where and when and who and how will actually see what you want. Plus, it's very easy to use a tool like this and have different methods of marketing on different pages. So if you have a landing page as part of your site, you don't want to put a pop-up on there. Or you might want to do something on exit intent that just says 10% off if you sign up now. You know, and then you get their email and you can market to them, those kinds of things, all integrated into this. And this is the thing that I really like about it. So customize, it's pretty self-explanatory. You know, you can choose the different kinds of ConvertBox types, and you can see we currently have your sticky bar, your call-out modal, full page, and center modal. But you also have some additional ones which are embeddable into the design aspects of your page. So you can embed those into blog content, into your sidebar, however you want to go about it. If we go to display, for example, this is where the fun really starts. Into your triggers, if we open this up, you can see you can set time on page, scrolling the page, period of no activity. Things that you're probably quite used to if you've used any other kind of pop-up. Even if you use an Elementor to deal with these side of things, a lot of this is going to be fairly familiar. But again, the beauty of this is that it's off platform. You simply either use the WordPress plugin, which I've not used, or you just simply put in a tiny little bit of code that links this to your website, which is what I've done, reduces the need for keeping things updated and so on, and then you have the full access to this and you can choose where and when, because everything just links together. It's pretty cool. Then you can set your frequency. So you can see at the moment this is show to each visitor 1 time per session and no more than 3 times in total. The last thing you want to do is bug your visitors with the same old pop-up every time. So this is where you can control it. And again, you've got lots of options. So show the convert box for each visitor, number of times based upon a session, a day, or a week. Then you can set the number of times and suppress frequency if closed. So in other words, if someone closes it down, they're not interested, then forget about the frequency, just kind of stop it. Just don't show it. And then you can go ahead and you can set the location. And this, like I say, is where powerful things happen. So what pages do you want this convert box to show up on? So I can say included all my site pages on my site and excluded from nothing. But you might not want that. You don't want to have a pop-up on your checkout page, for example. Well, you can easily come in and you can add include and exclude display rules. Go to your display rules and you can see the exact URL is, URL starting with, URLs containing, so you can use subfolders, different paths and things like that. WordPress tags, WordPress categories. And then you can just simply come in and you can, obviously you can connect it to your WordPress plugin if you want to use those WordPress-based features. But you can easily come in and say URLs containing, and then you can drop in a keyword. And you can do the same in reverse with exclusion options. And you can stack these rules on top of each other, so you can create quite complex and comprehensive rules using these display conditions. Hopping over to targeting, and this is where you can get even more control over this. And like I said, this is really, really quite nerdy, but exciting. Do you want to show it to all visitors, or do you want to target specific visitors? And then you can say, well, what visitors do you want to target? Now, for me, the last thing I want to do is show people that are on my mailing list that have looked at the site, that have already subscribed to this, the same pop-up. So I can go in, and you can see I've set this up. It is not in a MailerLite group, 10 Steps ebook subscribers. That's one of my mailing list groups. So if anybody's on that list, don't show it to them. And you can see I've got andifs, orifs, and I can build these up and I can edit them. And there's tons of options. You can see yourself, look at those options. Surely there's more than enough inside there. And depending upon where you connect this to will give you more or less options as well. So I really like this. And then when you're ready, you can just simply click on launch and you can activate and deactivate it. So again, you have full control over this. You can simply come into one dashboard, deactivate different things that you do want, activate things that you do want. So time sensitive offers, you can deal with that. And you can even schedule a start and end day and time. So if you enable this, you can come in and set this up. So if you've got a special Black Friday deal, for example, or Cyber Monday deal, you can set this up, set it to run from the date you want to start, the date you want to finish, job done, when it's all finished. And that's it. That's the kind of key things that I use for the most part of my LMS moving forward into 2022. This has been a kind of lot longer video than I was expecting it to be, but hopefully it's piqued your interest into finding out how these things integrate to each other. And if you want me to cover any of these specific tools in more detail, let me know in the comments section below. But as always, all of the applicable links are in the description. If you've got any comments, questions, or feedback, let me know down below. My name is Paul C. This is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.